Hey everybody, welcome to episode 9 of This Song Fucking Sucks. Today's guest, April Richardson, you can find her at aprilrichardson.com. I can't believe how difficult it is to say her name. I think I'm just, mildly dyslexic or something, but that is like the biggest word sandwich for me right now. I've screwed it up like 100 times. Anyway, at APEY on Twitter and Apple. See, Apple. I almost called her Apple. At April Rich on Instagram. You can find me at jeffcalmback.com, facebook.com/JeffCalmbacksMusic, Instagram at Jamback, at Twitter at Jeff Calmback. Come see my good buddy Leonard Feingold with the Northern California Spasmatics on April 29th, Friday, at Red Hawk Casino. Sunday, May 1st at Swabby's. And Friday, May 6th with our friend Saul at Dan's in Walnut Creek. Don't forget to support the show. You can subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. This song, F*********, ING sucks on iTunes. Any of your other podcast apps, we're on it. It's fine. We're everywhere. We're also now on the Twitter at TSFnS and Facebook.com/TSFnS and probably somewhere else. I don't fucking know. What do I look like? And then, of course, we've got the playlist on Spotify and on YouTube. This Song Fucking Sucks playlist, which will have the songs that we're working on, that we're talking about in the episodes, and this Song Fucking Jams, a Pleasant Alternative playlist that will have all the songs that myself and the guests choose that we're jamming to, which is way better to listen to. It's actually really fun, and I listen to it on purpose. I really enjoy these songs, okay? So fucking get on that shit. I want to bring to everyone's attention that this episode was recorded before last week, so if you ask yourself, how are we not mentioning Prince at all? It's because this was recorded before he passed, so that's the only reason he didn't come up, which honestly is really not a good enough reason to not mention him. He should have come up anyway. And before we get any further, I need to apologize in advance about the fidelity of today's episode. I work really hard to get these episodes sounding as good as I possibly can, but today I just got a bad file and I did the best I could with it, and it is such a great conversation that it's not to be missed, even if it sounds a little crackly. So just fucking deal with it. It's really worth it. I know, caught up in the middle. I cry just a little when I think of letting go. Oh no, gave up on the riddle. I cry just a little when he plays Piano in the Dark. Today we listen to Piano in the Dark by Brenda Russell. This song fucking sucks. You may know her from Chelsea Lately, her true TV show Almost Genius, or her delightful podcast Go Bayside. Please welcome comedian April Richardson. Hi, April.
Hi.
Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
For anybody who is in my listenership who doesn't know, why don't you tell them a little bit about your podcast? Because that's one of my favorite podcasts of all time.
Well, first of all, thank you. Second of all, it is a podcast where I've already completed it because we did all of the episodes, but it was a Saved by the Bell podcast where I invited a friend over to watch an episode of the show, which we did, and then we sat next to each other and took notes, and then I pressed record, and we picked it apart, beat by beat, and really got to the bottom of it and the logic of it, or lack thereof, of every single episode of Saved by the Bell.
Which is brilliant. It's just commitment.
Yes. Well, it's like I'm obsessed with it. It's like the one show I just watched it so much as a kid that I have every single episode memorized. And so it's like the one topic in life that I probably know the most about.
And, how can you make that work for you and the world at large?
Right. Which I didn't think would do at first. Like when I first started it, it was a total joke.
Yeah.
And just thought, oh, well, no one's going to listen to this. This is purely because I still like to talk about this show so much. And so when it took off, it was such a pleasant surprise because it just was like, wow, I can't believe anyone else. I mean, I guess, and also because there's just a built-in age. People of a certain age saw that show a million times a day. So there was kind of a built-in audience.
Yeah, totally. I would, I saw it. I'm kind of the same age. But I would just listen to it and, like, sometimes I would watch it and sometimes I wouldn't. I realized I like it better if I don't watch it.
Well, that's cool to hear, but it's also kind of funny because, like, I know there are other people out there like me who had seen so many of them or seen them so many times that even like the first sentence of the podcast, they'd be like, oh yeah, I know this episode. This is the episode where this happens, where it's like you wouldn't even need to watch it.
So what we do is not completely off the trails from that. It's picking out a song that offends us.
Yeah.
Just straight out. No, offends me.
Right.
I don't pretend to be even about it. It's pretty subjective. So today's song, Brenda Russell's song.
Yeah.
Piano
Which
in the Dark.
I imagine so many people listening are probably like, what? Because this is a song from like my mom's time in the way that it's
totally Absolutely.
Contemporary, like smooth jazz from the 80s.
Yeah, exactly. But whatever, there's the internet. Look it up.
Yeah.
Everybody, turn this off, listen to the fucking song, and then come back.
You don't even have to look it up. I bet if you've ever been in a dentist waiting room, you have heard this song. I mean, that's the kind of music it is.
Definitely. It's 1988, the high point.
Yeah.
When you look it up in Wiki, under genre, it's R&B, soul, and Quiet Storm.
Quiet Storm, which I was not even aware of that. Here's the thing. I mean, this song, am I allowed to cuss on your podcast?
Please do. It's very encouraged.
It's funny that I always ask that of like every podcast, like as if it's live radio. I fucking hate this song with an indescribable passion. But the funny thing is the time from which it comes is a time I did like other shit. Like I was super into like R&B in like the early days of VH1. Remember when VH1 only played like Anita Baker and shit? Like I was down with that. But this
is very Anita Baker.
This is a terrible. I don't know what it is about this song in particular that I just can't stand. But I just felt a little ashamed because I looked it up too because I also couldn't remember the name of the lady who sang it.
Right. And
so when I was looking it up, I saw the Quiet Storm thing too, and then I felt a little ashamed of not knowing that that's a genre.
Oh yeah, and this is it. This is it in spades. Like Luther Vandross.
Who I like. Like he's great. Like the other examples of this are great, but like just this song. Oh my God. And also kind of the other song, the lady's famous. The album that this song is on is the same album. It's called Get Here, that has that Get Here If You Can song on it, which also I think is kind of garbage. But like, am I steamrolling over? Do you have like a format? Because I'm just starting to yell about how I hate this song.
That's the format.
Okay, here's the deal I have with this song. Other than the fact that, it's totally like dentist waiting room shit. It's like so milquetoast, middle of the road shit. So I'd heard it all the time growing up in that context, or like in the car with my mom when she had like the smooth jazz station on, and like I just always hated it. Whatever. But I was also at the gym once. This is relatively recently, and heard like a techno remix of it that almost made me jump out the window because I was like doubly angry in the way that like this is already the lamest song. The fact that just made me think of somebody hearing the song going, that's so awesome that I want to make a remix of it to like bring it back into the public consciousness.
I think it's more the opposite where it's like, how can I possibly make this worse? Dance beat.
Ha! Yeah, but to me, I took it as it's a thing that needs to be left alone. Like, don't bring it back. Let us forget about it. Please let it just go away. Because I feel like when you remix a thing, even if it's terrible, and even if it's like this terrible oonce, remix that does kind of bring it back into the world in a way that's like people go, oh yeah, remember, and then it kind of gets played again. I don't like the tune. I don't like anything about it. But to me, like the lyrics always made me seethe with hatred because I thought they were so dumb.
There are definitely quantifiable things I can point to and say, this is garbage.
Right.
For example, right off the bat, one of my most hated sounds of all time is that fake Fender Rhodes synth patch, right? One of the greatest electric pianos of all time. It's such a great sound. We love it. It had the 70s vibe and, of course, the 60s and stuff.
Right.
But in the 80s, they're like, yeah, let's take that. And we're going to take that patch and we're going to put strings behind it, the fake synth strings behind it. So when you played it played both. And it was just the worst fucking sound of all time.
Right.
And it must have come preloaded on one of those DX7s or something.
Right.
But, like, there's that. And then behind it, it's the fake Oz, the fake, like, choir patch in there. And it's just this giant sandwich of suck.
Yeah.
Things that, you know, an example of stuff that the technology of the 80s gave us that we just did not need.
Right. And the attitude of the 80s, of it being new and everyone wanting to use it on everything because they were just excited that it was new.
So bad.
Right.
And then, of course, the bass comes in and it's a synth bass, and that's just like boom, 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 boom. I don't know. It sounds like you're hitting a caveman in the head or something.
It's funny that you're breaking it down musically because for me, it's like the lyrics are the dumbest lyrics, and I used to just grit my teeth because she's singing with such emotion, these super terrible lyrics, and I took them so literally, and I used to get so mad the way she would sing. She's trying to describe, like, the emotion or whatever. She's getting dumped or something, or she's going to dump this guy, like, whatever, about, you know, what every song in the history of the universe is about. And then she goes, I cried just a little when he plays piano in the dark. Why? Why is it different than him playing piano in the light? You know who it is. You know he's playing piano. I'm not even trying to be funny. I used to get so mad at, like, the idea of her.
I said the same thing.
I'm dead serious. Like, if the guy came in and it's daylight, it's totally daylight, lights are on, she sees him, he sits at the piano, she's, like, shrugging. She's like, who cares? She's feeling nothing. But then as soon as the lights go off, she starts crying? How does that change the quality of his piano playing?
And here's the other thing that I'm thinking is, as a musician, like, to be like, oh, I'm going to set up this mood lighting and play.
Yeah.
That's the kind of shit I did when I was like 15.
Right.
You know, I'm going to light this candelabra.
Yes.
I'm going to play some really just deep emotional music. It's like, fuck off, douche.
Right.
You know, like, don't be a dork.
But I do love the idea of your scenario where he does do that. Like, say he comes in and he's like, girl, I'm going to play piano for you. And he does set it all up where it's like a candelabra or whatever. There is some light in there because he's like trying to impress her.
That's true.
And then she's like, who cares? And then when the lights go out, she's like, now I feel it. And he's like, fuck off. I'm trying to, like, show you how good I can shred on piano. I just hate it. Like,
I've been working on this. I could do it.
Yeah. But so the fact that is what makes her emotional is listening to him play piano, specifically in the dark. And it makes her cry just a little. Like, I just pictured her having one tear, like the Native American guy in the commercial telling you not to litter. I hate it so much.
Maybe he's really shitty at the piano, and when he turns out the lights,
he gets better.
He just puts on, like, a recording of, like, Chopin.
It's a player piano?
It's a player piano. He puts in the roll. It's like, this'll get her.
And then she cries a little.
Just a little.
Yeah, I hate it. And she does feel it so much. Like, you know, when she's singing that part, she's like, whoa, whoa. And, like, it's just too much emotion for the scenario that she's describing. To the point that it's, like, too dramatic.
Yeah, it is very heavy-handed. No question about it. You know, this is definitely such a mom song. Big-haired mom song.
Well, it reminds me of, you know the scene in Ghost World where Seymour is dating that lady and she gets up and she's like, oh, this is my favorite song. And she turns it up and it's that solid as a rock. It's that Ashford and Simpson song. And they start dancing and she's like, don't you love this song? It's really great. And he's like, yeah, I guess. It's like that kind of song.
It totally is. This is the sound of shoulder pads.
Yes! Yes, exactly. I mean, it is, and it's just this... I mean, again, it's like just fake emotion, which I don't know why I singled out, because like I like Luther Vandross. I like the other stuff of that time. That stuff resonates with me. This is like the fakest, terrible lyrics, injecting emotion into this like really. Again, that's a scenario of a dude playing piano in the dark and you like crying. It's like that's such an average occurrence. Like, who fucking cares? I mean, I guess it's supposed to be a metaphor for him. Like I don't know if it's supposed to be like he's playing the final song. Like she knows after the song is over, he's gonna leave her.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe. It's just such a weird metaphor.
Yes!
It's a weird song to me. It's a weird song. Like, Piano in the Dark, that's such an odd choice to me. I'm wondering if it's like a euphemism for some kind of weird sex thing.
Yeah, I wonder that too, because
fingering or something. He's
Right.
really good at like that kind of thing because there's the fingers with the piano or something.
I agree, because as I get older, there are more and more times where I realize that songs I loved in my youth were like completely about banging, and I didn't know. I mean, I only found out like a couple of years ago that Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel is about banging. Like, that was a revelation. I mean, when I was in my 30s.
I just figured that out when you said it.
Oh, dude, I was talking to my friend Millie about it because I love Peter Gabriel, and like that song remains a banger, and I'm like, oh, this is amazing. And then I was listening to the lyrics where it's like, open up your fruit cage. It's like every single lyric is like explicitly about him putting his dick in a lady.
As it should be.
And I did not register that. It took me until I was in my 30s.
I think that song, because the video was so powerful, it's like you kind of get lost in that imagery that...
But if you look at the video now, even a lot of the imagery is like oil rig, or you know, it's like the thing in comedy movies where they cut to like hot dogs being put in buns and like oil rigs going up and down. It's like some of the imagery in that video was even like that. Yes! So, and it took me forever to put that together. So it's like, I don't doubt that something in the song is about fucking, but it doesn't matter. I always took it so literally. As soon as I heard like the opening, I was like, oh my God, I gotta leave the room that the song is playing in. I remember I got mad also because there's, I'm super into Outkast, and there's an Outkast song that references it. Andre 3000, his verse says something like, as I play piano in the dark. And I was like mad about that. I'm like, why are you referencing that terrible song, dude? You're better than that. Yeah, I got angry.
I'm going to write a tersely worded letter to Andre 3000.
Yeah, I was really upset about it.
It was sampled by Tupac and the Outlaws for You Can Be Touched from their 1999 album Still I Rise.
Yeah, I saw that too. I mean, I felt like, maybe, again... It's a song that I'm sure elicits zero reaction in 99% of the population. So I'm sure I'm a weirdo for hating it so passionately. But I also just thought it was always so boring that it's like, why would anybody be sampling it or anything? Or referencing it in any way?
I think because it's so weird.
It's just weird.
It's just odd.
It's so weird.
Which I like, because it makes it fun to talk about. Like, what was going on? What were you doing?
I mean, again, my major beef is with the lyrics. I swear to God. My major beef was with that lady singing about crying while a dude plays piano with the lights off.
And just a little.
Just a little bit! Yes.
Let's be honest about this, because this is one thing that always comes up, was she crying just a little because she was crying just a little? Or was she crying just a little because it rhymed with middle and riddle?
Right.
You know?
Right. But here's the thing. I know, caught up in the middle, I cry just a little when I think of I'm reading the lyrics off of the internet. Oh no, gave up on the riddle. I cry just a little when he plays piano in the dark. Which again, I get that it's supposed to be like about their relationship. But I also love, again, I always took it so literally. Because I felt like it was the riddle. To her, it was a riddle. Like, how does he play in the dark? He can't even see the keys. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is super literal. Like, how is he even doing that?
You know, you do it enough, and you don't need to look at it.
Right. But the idea too of it again being 1,000% literal, and the whole song is about her staring at this dude, being like, how, and the tears are coming because she's just like, I can't figure out how he's doing it.
They're tears of frustration.
Yes!
Sheer frustration. Like, God damn it!
Yes! She's just like, the lights aren't even on. How are you still playing? Teach me your ways.
Maybe it's about her piano teacher.
I almost want it to be. I think I'd hate it less if it was. If it's about her piano teacher, or if it's about a blind guy who plays piano.
Oh, shit.
What if it's about Ray Charles?
Oh.
Who's always playing piano in the dark.
Or Stevie Wonder.
Yes. You know what? if it turns out to be about one of those dudes, I'll hate it less.
Yeah, I think we're breaking into something.
Yeah.
Here's one thing that bugs the shit out of me. She keeps talking about you. Back to love you. She's talking directly to him, right?
Right.
But when it gets to that line, it's when he plays piano on the
Yeah.
That's bad. You know you can't do that in writing.
That's like switching tenses in writing or something too. Yeah, exactly. Where you're like, who are you talking to? Like, who's
that? Yeah.
Maybe that's
so.
You know what? You're right.
Yeah.
And that actually lends itself to our theory that because then maybe she's talking to this dude. You know what? This is going to be a revelation. Like, this podcast makes me unhate this song. What if she's talking to this dude and it's independent of the piano guy? What if a guy's breaking up with her while, like, a Stevie Wonder record plays?
Oh.
I think we cracked the code.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what's happening is that, like, he's telling her, hey, babe, I got to break up with you or whatever. And she's trying to take that in while, like, a really sad Stevie Wonder song comes on or something. And then she starts crying.
Wow. That's actually going to make me cry.
I feel now I hate it a little less.
I think we're kind of doing our job for some reason, if you do.
Yeah.
You know.
That's crazy.
When you're saying that, I'm like, what song, you know? And, like, I went to Lately. You know that one?
Yes,
Lately?
of course.
Ugh. That breaks my goddamn heart.
So maybe that's what happened is, like, that was their song or something. Or, like, either Lately comes on because it's, like, sad or whatever their song is that Stevie Wonder comes on. And then she's like, oh, my God, this guy's breaking up with me. And this comes on. Like, I can't handle this. I got to cry a little.
Yes.
I think that might be it.
Wow. All right. Well, that was fun. I'll see you later.
We solved it!
Yeah, there it is.
Even if I hate it less in theory, I'll never listen to the song voluntarily.
Yes, that's fair.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Even if that is true, I like that. I love that theory. I'm on board. Mm-hmm. I feel like there's not enough to lead us there.
Right. It's the kind of thing where if I wrote it and I heard people come up with this theory, I'd go, oh yeah, that's definitely what I meant.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I don't like how her rhyme scheme keeps moving around. Also just laziness.
Right.
Like, to me, that's the worst sin is not, you know, something's out of tune, something didn't work or whatever, but just like, nah, you should have tried harder. You know? Like, where they put the rhyme in, like, that first stanza versus the second stanza, and then when they come back to it, there's more rhymes. It's like, you know, they just kind of, didn't figure it out. Just went, here's some words. Just shit them in there and just fucking stuff them in place so we can get this track rolling and do some more blow.
Right. Right. Well, yeah, of course. In 1988. Yeah.
Yeah. And why is it 5 minutes long? It's like almost
Dude,
6 minutes long.
I know.
It's over like at least 3/4 of the way through, and they just sit on those same two chords and
keep repeating the piano in the dark shit. Yeah, I agree. It's like 2 minutes too long. And you're right. I mean, as much as I want our theory to be true, I am reading the lyrics now, realizing that it does switch back. Yeah, it switched back too much from he to you, he to you, he to you. Because it says, he holds me close like a thief of the heart. He plays a melody. And then it says, just as I walk through the door, I feel your emotion. Back to love you. So it is almost like she was at a different location listening to whoever this is playing piano in the dark. And then goes to the house of the dude and is like, hey, I feel your emotion. And then goes back to the location where the piano is.
I don't like I can feel your emotion either. It's not really a reason for me to not like it, but I don't. It's not specific.
Yeah, but look, I don't have a solid... Again, my solid argument for hating the song is it just makes me want to grind my teeth into stumps. You're the musician. I mean, fundamentally, I can't give you, like, reasons why this is terrible other than I fucking hate it so much.
I'm a musician. I'm not a psychologist. I can't say why.
But it's the sort of thing where I would listen to, you know, fucking Limp Bizkit 500 hours in a row before I would listen to this song. I don't know. That's how much. I don't know what it is.
That's pretty intense.
I know.
That's pretty intense.
I know. And this poor lady, I'm sure this lady is a nice lady, but there's just something about it. When you asked me to be on this, I gave you two, because I was like, either this song, and again, there's my other option, was a song called Drift Away by Dobie Gray, which I call Give Me the Beat Boys. That's how I know it.
Right.
And again, the only reason I hate this song is because there's never been a moment in my life, this is not an exaggeration, there's never been a moment in my adult life that I didn't, either soon after walking in or right as I walk into a store or a restaurant, that didn't start playing. It follows me.
That's a Twilight Zone episode.
Yes. So it's like, again, it might be 5 songs after I've walked into the store or 2 songs after I've walked into the store, but I will hear that song at some point when I walk into a store. To the point, I'm divorced now, but when I was married, it happened all the time. And now, even still, however many years after I got divorced, I text my ex-husband every time it happens. I will text him and be like, guess what's playing in this store? And he'll just text back like 800 ha-ha-ha's because he's like, he knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Wow, that's creepy.
But again, that's the only reason I hate that song.
I hate it because of Uncle Cracker.
Yes.
That cocksucker.
Yeah, of course.
That was just like, you fucker.
Yeah.
The Dobie Gray one, before that happened, I was totally down with it. I was like, yeah, give me the beat. Go ahead. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Now it's just like...
Now it's been defiled.
I will fucking murder myself.
Yeah, of course.
God damn it.
No, so I'm just saying, that's equally as irrational as poor Brenda Russell here.
But that's an interesting story to it. The thing, like musically on that one, again, I hate it too. But that's one where my personal hatred comes from the performance and from stuff just more circumstance rather than the piece, right?
Right.
It's the same thing with, I've discussed this before, with your Mustang Sallies and your Brown Eyed Girls and stuff, where they just get butchered by so many old man bands, mustache rockers who just play them so poorly.
Yeah, they just like suck the life out of the song that you once loved.
I love Van Morrison.
Right.
But if I hear that song, I'm going to fucking like pull my eye out of its socket. And
right.
I wonder what it would have been like all those years ago before that happened.
Sure.
And, if I try to pick apart what's wrong with it, there's really nothing. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Except it just makes me think of old mustache rockers playing it with negative charisma.
You're right. Right. Totally. It sucks how people can ruin stuff like that.
I don't know. And they think they're doing it so well, too.
I know, that's the thing that kind of breaks my heart about it, is the irony of them ruining it because they love it so much. They love it so much that they want to play it all the time, not knowing that while they do that, they're ruining it for us. It's kind of sad.
It's like when you go to a battle of the bands, the only person who loses is the audience.
Right. As somebody who is like very anti-cynicism, it's a thing that breaks my heart because it is true. I love Morrissey so much, but there are so many Morrissey fans where I'm like, yo, please, no, you're ruining this.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm a big Tool fan. They're another one where people hate them just because of their fans.
Right.
They become this frat band. The music isn't that.
Right.
The players aren't that. They're so talented and so smart and so interesting, and it's become synonymous with douchebag.
Right.
I guess I have to hide this now or something. I don't know.
It's heartbreaking.
What are we going to do?
I don't know.
What are we going to do?
We just have to enforce a law that no one's allowed to like anything more than us.
This is mine. You can't have it.
Yeah, you can't have it. You can't ruin it by liking it too much.
There needs to be more moratoriums on just songs. Like, this song may not be covered ever again at all. For any reason.
Right. It's like copyright, where it's like, there's got to be a statute of limitations, where it's like, all right, for the next 5 years, everybody can cover the song, and then after that, it's against the law.
And then, like, maybe every, 15, 20 years, they'll give them, here's a window, go for it.
Right. And then after it's closed, nope, you'll be arrested if you cover that.
And, if you see top 40 bands now, it's going to be like Uptown Funk.
Right.
And hearing them butcher that.
Right, for sure.
It's fun to think about how they'll have multiple front people, and they'll have the girl, and she's the best singer in her high school growing up, but not in her county.
Ha! Right.
Yeah, that song is no good anymore. Thanks.
Right.
Good times.
Well, hopefully, I think we do live in a world where not many people are covering Piano in the Dark. So there is hope.
I'm going to try to bring that up to my band, see if we can work that out.
Dude, I will ship your audience crates of tomatoes to throw at you.
Thank you. We need that.
I will make sure that happens if you cover Piano in the Dark.
Okay, don't worry. We're good on Piano in the Dark. I love how toward the end, after she says it, they have the whisper thing, in the dark.
Yes.
It's so creepy.
Yes.
Get out of my head.
God, it's a cherry on top of this.
It makes me think of that Maiden song, Fear of the Dark, but it's not.
Right.
I feel like Andy Dick is whispering it too. I don't know why.
Imagine if that is him. He teamed up with Brenda Russell. Yeah, get Andy Dick here in the studio.
Yeah, that would be an interesting duet. No one would buy that. No one. There's a spot in the pre-chorus where she goes, just as I walk through the door, and the second time she hits that, she gets the phlegmy thing.
Right.
Just as I walk through the door.
Right. Or is it that like that kind of thing you mean?
No, it's not the Fat Albert voice. It's the I just drank a bunch of milk and I'm gonna sing this line. You know?
Gross.
Yeah, and it's like, why didn't they keep that in?
Right.
Do that line over again, because it sounded like she harked something up mid-line.
I will say a secret thing I like. It's not that, but I kind of secretly like it when people's voices crack and they leave it in. That's like a guilty pleasure of mine. I kind of like it because I think it shows that they like feel it so hard that their voice cracked. There's a handful of songs where I'm listening and that happens and I'm like, oh, I love that you let that in.
Like in Give Me Shelter, where that backup singer is just fucking...
It's just like going off. So I kind of like it sometimes when people leave in a voice crack or leave in a little imperfection where I'm like, oh, that's cool. But this, I mean, phlegm is different. That's just like, yo, go clear your throat. Like, that's gross.
Then Stevie Winwood would not have any records in the 80s. I'm pretty sure, like, they're all, like, phlegmed out.
They're all phlegmed out?
Probably because he was doing, again, a ton of blow.
Right. Yeah, you get that Coke drip?
Yeah, he sounded pretty phlegmy and all those, like, Higher Love. Yeah. But I also get the... you know, in the age of Pro Tools, there is that desire and that want to be like, no, do it again. Let's make it perfect.
Like, make everything super slick. Yeah.
And it sucks.
I agree. I had an argument recently with somebody about this because I saw New Order, New Order, one of my favorite bands of all time. Easily, like, maybe top 5 favorite bands of all time. And I saw them, and then I was just, after I saw them, I was like, on a binge, just re-listening to all New Order. And there are songs where he straight up can't sing. And I don't care.
Right.
It still sounds rad to me because he's just trying and he's just yelling and he feels it's way more about how he feels when he's singing it than how perfect it sounds.
It's the human quality of it.
Yeah.
Part of what we want when we're listening is to feel this connection with what the person is singing and feel relatable. And when everything is so perfect, it's not relatable because it's not human. It's something else.
Right.
It's this weird balance, and it's so tough to strike, and our Pro Tools and our Logics, and they suck us in.
Right.
This thing doesn't feel correct. I'll just correct that. But if I correct that, then I got to correct the thing after that. And then you're perfecting everything, and your record is going to take 10 times longer, and it's not going to sound as good.
And it's going to sound like fucking robots are playing it. Because if it's completely mistake-free. Yeah, totally.
Depending on what you're doing, maybe that's, that works, electronic music stuff. Like, obviously, it's all about that. It's about that robotic nature of the music.
Right, but what I like about New Order the most is I feel like they're a combo. I feel like they're a combo of, like, cold robotic dance music, but emotional singer and emotional lyrics. That's why they're one of my faves.
And speaking of faves... now is a perfect opportunity to go to our segment entitled This Song Fucking Jams, a pleasant alternative. What you been jamming on lately?
Oh, okay, yeah. I lived in Manchester for a few years after high school, and I went back to visit friends, and my friend Dorian was like, oh, you gotta check out this woman called Lone Lady. Lone Lady. And he was like, my friend Dorian's has everything I like nailed. Anytime I go visit him and he's like, check this band out, the next day I'll buy all their shit because I know he's going to nail it. And he did. And speaking of New Order, it's this lady from Manchester who sounds like a one-woman kind of early New Order, but then also some post-punk. It's like her doing everything, and it's amazing. It's amazing, and so I've been listening to her a lot, and her latest album is called Hinterland. It's just rad. It's so good.
Well, you have a specific song that people can jam on that?
The title track is great. Hinterland is great. There's a song called Bunker Pop. It's the whole album is really, like I said, it's like funky. Like parts of it are like Gang of Four-y, bassy, dancey, funky, like Wire or something. And then like there are parts that are like,
Yeah,
again, early New Order where it's like stark and electronic. It's just rad. And it's her doing everything, which I think is awesome too.
that's awesome.
She just recorded it by herself in like a warehouse in Manchester or something.
Very hip.
Yeah, she's great.
Unfortunately, April had to cut it short. She had an important engagement to go to, and I really appreciate the time she gave me and had an awesome time chatting with her, and she was hilarious, and it was a really fun discussion. So I hope you all really enjoyed it. But I wasn't able to discuss with her my pick. And as I said earlier, this was recorded weeks ago, so we didn't have the news that we have now, but I felt it only necessary to do a Prince song for my pick because, of course, of his recent passing. And one of my favorites, and it's so hard to pick, but one of my favorite Prince tunes has always been Pop Life. And the thing that I love about this song is its tempo and its beat, which is really pretty simple, kind of, little bit pushing the edge of mid-tempo. It's not really a super fast song, it's not a super slow song, but it's right in this perfect spot, and it just the way it feels so good, it makes me want to move. It's just the right amount of funky. And it's interesting, there's not a ton of fills or anything. That beat just drives. It's so good. I just love the drums to that song. There's not much to it, but it just feels so good. But a perfect example of, all the right things. And all the things I love about Prince is that, okay, this song feels good. It's so danceable. But it's got the catchiness factor too. It's got the melodic hook in your head, that just pulls you in. And it's everything that I want a song to be. There's layers to it. I love the harmony to it, but I love the melody, and it gets stuck in my head. And, I love the beat and the way it makes me feel. It's interesting too, because when I listen to it, it almost feels like it's pretty spare, especially considering, his capability to make a song just so lush with orchestration. It is a little bare in production, but even in, basically, it's drums, bass, there's some synth stuff, of course, vocals and backing vocals. And there's probably a lot of stuff layered in that's just been kind of pulled into a very subtle place, So it's not that it doesn't have layers, but it doesn't have a barrage of ginormous orchestration. But it's seemingly pretty, spare for him. But even with that spare orchestration to it, there's still so much to listen to. And that is my favorite thing in the world, where when I listen to it, it's hard to focus on any one piece of it because there's so many pieces I want to focus on. And it just makes me want to listen to it over and over again and go, okay, this time I'm just going to listen to this part. I'm just going to listen to everything that happens in the bass line because it's just so good, and I just want to focus on it and listen to that groove and just listen to that bass popping and stuff, and it just sticks with you. So, and of course, with everybody talking about Prince and talking about their favorite songs, one of the great things about it is that everybody's doing the same thing that I'm doing right now, is going, this is my song. This is the song that I love, or posting these videos, and he's got so many amazing, amazing songs that you can go, oh, wait, yeah, that one, I love that one too. And, I find myself just abandoning my favorite song for whatever the next song of his I hear. You know, it's like, oh no, that one's, oh wait, no, this one's my favorite. Oh, well, that's my favorite too. You know, it's just unbelievable. And the one time I saw him, that was the whole thing. All night was just like, oh, I love this song. Oh wait, no, I love this song. And it just didn't stop the whole time. And it was unbelievable to see him at the Oracle Arena, and he made it feel so intimate. I was not close at all, and yet I felt like I was in a club. I felt like I was in Cafe du Nord with him, you know? What an unbelievable presence. And I'm not saying anything that everybody else in the world isn't saying, but I feel remiss if I didn't acknowledge this enormous, lifetime talent that, we're fortunate to have lived through, and I didn't even get into the lyrics of Pop Life, which are fun as shit, so classic, so interesting, so thought-provoking, there's no weak point to his music. And I never have ever heard anything that he's done and been like, oh, that sucks. Never. I think one of the greatest things that we can say about him on this show is that we could never talk about anything on his show in the main part of the show, unless we're talking about this is what you should have done, is everything he did. And I think for our lifetime, this is, he's the Mozart, he's the Bach, the genius musical force. And, I know if April were on the show right now, she would definitely be agreeing with me. So, and would have a lot of other amazing insight on the love for Prince to share. I think we're all the world is saying the same thing, just how much they love him and how much they'll miss him. But at the same time, how glad we are that we did get to have him and that we live in this world that has his body of work. So I'm very thankful for that, at least. It's been a great show, and I really got to thank April Richardson for giving me a call and talking to me. Don't forget to check out aprilrichardson.com for shows, and on Twitter at APAPEY, and on Instagram at AprilRich. Again, my sincerest apologies that I couldn't get rid of the crackle on her audio, but what she had to say was so goddamn fun, I couldn't not put it out. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. This song, F***********ing sucks, and you can find us now on the Twitter at TSFnSucks, Facebook.com/TSFnS. And I want to thank everybody who's been listening to this show. I'm having a great time doing it. I really hope you continue listening. I hope you like it. Our next guest is going to be great. JP is having a great time doing it with me. I love working with him. So for April Richardson, Brenda Russell, and the Purple One, I'm Jeff Kalmbach. Don't let the man get you down.